me.
All right, y'all, this is gonna conclude like my solo trip saga. Okay, so this is going to be part 3. I pre-recorded this like rant when I got back into the room after leaving the event. I wanted to preface it by saying this was before I like took a second to really reflect on everything. So we're gonna play like my initial thoughts, like fresh out of the event, right? And then I'll come back to you guys and give you like an update based on the time that I've had to reflect, or after the time that I've had to reflect. Obviously my perspective has changed a little bit, but I want to honor how I was feeling in that moment. So I'm going to include it prior to the update. Okay, now we can begin. All right, y'all. So I'm back in the room. I thought I was going to go back to CultureCon to see Tiana Taylor and Z-Way, but I just don't think I'm going to. Maybe I'm like underappreciating what was discussed whilst I was there. But I just feel like it's just very general, considering the fact that there's a limited time slot and only so much can be discussed. Yeah. Like, if you're wondering if you should go, based on my experience, I think it's really good for anybody who is in like the thinking phase. If you're in the thinking phase, and like maybe you're insecure about getting things done, or maybe you need like some motivation, I think CultureCon is great. But if you're in like the creating phase and you're looking for like connections to like stakeholders or knowledge about how to access those stakeholders, I haven't gained no knowledge in that regard. But I think one of the beautiful things about things like CultureCon is that you get to see people that were once in your shoes, you know? Like, even though they're big names today, like a Issa Rae, De'Ara Taylor, or whomever, you do definitely get to see the fact that, like, this person started as a YouTuber, and now they are where they are. And so it really, like, challenges creatives to not feel like you don't have what you need to get started. Yeah. But the reason I say, like, if you're already in the creative phase, you've already tackled the biggest hurdle of starting. So, like, getting started and being motivated to start, I just don't think that that's something that I needed, because I already started. Like, you know, starting is the hardest thing. So, like, once you start, I don't really know how much more you can hear people tell you, like, get started, get started, get started. So if anybody knows of any, like, upcoming events, I guess, let me say this, there wasn't networking opportunities, like you can go talk to people, but I only do but so much talking in person. So a few people I did talk to, we had valuable conversations. That's cool. We exchanged information. Everybody was loving the outfit. I ain't mad at them. They got good taste. I was gonna go to the thrift store, but since it's raining, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just about to chill in the room, get some editing done, eat my pasta from last night, and just chill and enjoy like this time to myself. Yeah. But overall, I'm so in love with this experience, and it's definitely pushing me to want to get on a plane and go somewhere else to just experience life in another place. So I'm not at all regretful of coming. I just don't think I would go to another CultureCon unless I was speaking. Like, the whole time I'm sitting in my seat, I understand, wait your turn and stuff. But when I see things like this, like CultureCon, and seeing people once in my shoes and now they are where they are, I ain't even gonna say it's motivation. It's high-key confirmation. Like, keep on doing what you can do and you can be here. I think the biggest thing to me is like sharing my story, sharing where I've come from and where God has taken me, and allowing people to see that following God gets you to the right place. Obeying God can get you to the right place. And that's like what I don't want to say like I'm following God to get to the right place, but I do follow God because I know God has a plan for me, and I know God is going to take me to the right place. But if I decide to go my own way, then I block my blessing of accessing whatever God has for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I came to see and get confirmation that things are possible. I really love about this opportunities too is I get to listen to the interviewers, and I get to like assess like what I liked about this interviewer, what I didn't like about this interviewer, how like they managed to pivot from this question to this question, things like that. Like those are things I definitely benefit from. I love I love panels because I get to study the interviewer, if anything. So that was good too. But yeah, y'all, that's it. I'm really just gonna hit this J and then go eat and yeah. Okay, so this is the next day after the event. Now, mind y'all, I only went to one out of the 2-day event. So maybe the second day have more things to offer. I just feel like I am not like a networker. And I think that could potentially be a downside to me. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's going to walk around asking everybody, like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I don't feel like that is, one, authentic to me. I don't feel like conversations like that have ever led to meaningful connections anyways. Like, when the conversation is definitely centered around what can you do for me? What can I do for you? I just feel like, I don't know, like that's just tacky. That's just the best way I could put it. I don't know how else to articulate it in any other way, but like that's how it feels within my soul, my body, my mind, like tacky as fuck. It's one thing to like introduce yourself, like introducing yourself is beyond the problem, but like the whole, I don't know, networking events have never been my scene. I've always felt really uncomfortable at them because I feel like I'm performing. Like, you know, naturally I want to sit in silence and observe, and like if I overhear conversation that intrigues me, I'll speak up. Or if I'm walking past someone that intrigues me, I'll speak up. Or if I hear something, you know, like I don't like to go out of my way to converse. And so that could also be a problem. Like I was talking to my brother and he was like, you know, how many people were at the event? That's what he asked me. And I told him that there was like hundreds of people. Like there was a lot of people. And he was like, how many people did you speak to? And I was like, I probably only spoke to like 4 or 5. And so he was like, okay, how can you be in an event with hundreds of people and you only speak to 4 or 5 and then you complain about the event? So I can acknowledge that like I sell myself short when I don't take advantage of networking opportunities. It's just like in the past, anytime I have, I just don't. Not even anytime I have. Again, in the moment, the shit just feels tacky. Like, you know, you talking to someone, I don't know. That's something I definitely have to work on. I think also when I went, I didn't have a goal set in mind. I think if you're going to a networking event, you should probably have a goal set in mind. Like if I could rewind time, or maybe going forward, if I ever go to one, I think I will set like a benchmark for me to meet. Like I have to speak to X amount of people. I have to introduce myself to X amount of people to help get me out of my comfort zone. Like try it enough times before I decide like, okay, that's really not me. I honestly do feel like I'm at the point where I know it's not me, but I'm also at the point where in my creative journey, I acknowledge the fact that I need help. And I can hire help for sure, but I didn't even got the funds to hire. So I'm in a place where like, who can I collaborate with? How can we help each other grow? Like that's always where my mind is at anytime I'm speaking to somebody. And so if that's what I'm looking for, then I have to just change my approach. Because I've been on the same one track for a while. It hasn't been working. So I need to implement some change. And so I think I dropped the ball on not like taking advantage of the full event. And it may be my ego too, like really transparent with you guys. Like whenever I'm talking to someone and they're telling me like, oh, they're afraid of putting themselves out there, I automatically disassociate because like, that's not me. I'm not afraid of putting myself out there. Not that I disassociate. I already understand like, okay, this conversation is going to be me like trying to help you pivot and change your perception, because I think that you definitely have the ability to reach whomever you want to reach. You just have to be able to put yourself out there. And then so we can bring it back to me. It's just like, I think I'm really just in the place of trying to meet people that are down to collaborate. I'm trying to meet people that understand that yes, resources may be limited, but how can you take your limited resources and I take my limited resources and we combine them to make something great, right? That's where I'm at. And it's like a lot of the people that I did socialize with at CultureCon, we're looking for looking for agencies and companies to work for. Like, I'm not even looking for that. I got my art. I'm just trying to find the help to bring this art to life because I understand I cannot do it alone. So I'll still continue to walk the journey. If there's another event that God points in my direction, like if there's another event that God puts in front of me, I'll take advantage of it. I did feel led to go to this one. I wasn't 100% sure why. I think this network event also gave me the opportunity to like hear how I not pitch myself, but hear how I like talk about my show. Because obviously, people are talking about what they do. So it gave me the chance to hear that, like, dang, I still don't really have a clear cut way to explain like what my show is. So these opportunities always push me and challenge me to like really figure that out. Also, there was a podcast pitch like competition and 3 finalists were called up. And so Shan Boodram, she is the host of the Lovers and Friends podcast. Shannon Boodram, excuse me. I believe I said her last name correct. Shan Booty. I'm so sorry. But back to the main point. What was the main point? Oh, yes, it was a podcast like pitch competition. And so I wrote down the questions that the host was asking so that I could answer those myself, like to make sure that I know how to answer those questions myself. And one of the things that really stuck with me was like, what does success look like to you? And I have yet to define that. I have an idea of what success does not look like to me, but as far as what it looks like to me, I haven't defined that. And I think a lot of me is really scared to set limitations on what success looks like to me. A lot of me is really scared to set limitations on anything. Like, I have made so many plans in the past and they have not worked out that I'm at a point now where I just don't even care to set a plan. I just take the steps that are in front of me and I just move forward, because every time I set a plan, I get caught up in the plan and I get attached to the plan and I get invested in the plan, and then I'm crying when things aren't looking like that. Like, I don't want to be like that anymore. So I haven't really said what success looks like, but I feel like I should have an idea of what my show success looks like. Like, what do I need to see my show? What do I need to see? Like, what benchmarks am I setting for my show for me to know that, like, yes, I've made it? Like, I don't even know that. Like, they had asked them, what is your, like, dream guest? And I wrote it down. I ain't gonna share it because I need to take time to really assess. I wrote down like an answer that I had, but even then when I wrote down the answer, I was like, I don't really know. Like, one thing about me, I noticed I'm not really like a dick sucker. Yeah, I'm not really like, not a dick sucker, but like, I don't really fangirl. So like, I don't have like people that I'm like, oh, I want to meet you. Oh, I want to talk to you. Oh, I want to see you. Like, I don't got that. And maybe I do. I mean, Roland Ray, like, I don't know. Even then, it's like, I just love what you post. I don't really think I need to meet you. So anyways, that's beyond the point. All in all, I don't want to discourage anyone from going. I think if you're like a socialite, or because initially, like in the rant, I was like, if you're trying to meet stakeholders, but I didn't stick around to talk to anyone enough to know if there were stakeholders or not. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's really me. Like, I'm at fault, but I have the tendency to leave events early. I always leave events early. Like, I go to things. Like, I mean, I just leave events early. I remember one time I was a bridesmaid at a wedding. I left early. Like, I just don't stick around. I get what I need and then I leave. Where I come to see if my prejudgmental thoughts were correct. And then once I see that it doesn't align with me or I'm not enjoying myself, I just leave. And so maybe that's the thing too. I'm trying to be like really open-minded here, because I'm speaking about a networking event knowing that I'm not the kind of person that naturally networks. So I guess I'm challenging myself to better understand, like, did I not converse with people because it was out of my comfort zone and I was scared, which I don't think is the reason. I think I just really didn't care to speak to people, which is a problem too, right? Considering my job is speaking to people. I'm just trying to, whatever, bro. I'm done talking. So that concludes this 3-part series. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And bye. Jesus, for your my vibe today. Bad mind don't stress me.